I actually did a little bit with Awkward sometime last year.
Yeah.
Um, Went from low diamond up to low GM in a couple
Mm,
months. Um,
nice.
Lately I've been watching a lot of your stuff. Um, I took a bit off of Overwatch from like season 5 till now.
Okay.
So my skills gone down
Yeah,
a
of course.
bit,
Of course.
but that's to be expected.
Of course.
But yeah, I just think it's fun.
Okay.
No real big aspirations. I just like getting better at the game. I think coaching's fun, learning to look at my game from a different perspective, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. How long you been playing?
Basically since Overwatch 1.
Mm-hmm.
I've, been here and there with Overwatch. I've not played consistently the whole time. I go kind of in and out. But I've definitely been more serious with Overwatch 2 than 1.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Now, why the inconsistency? Is it just not as interested all the time, or you over
Yeah, I mean,
grind,
it's
or what?
just when it catches my interest, I'll play more. When I feel like I don't necessarily want to play as much, I'll
Mm-hmm.
kind of take a break for a while.
Mm.
Um, it's not like I'm trying to join teams necessarily or anything, so it's just kind of
Yeah.
when I'm having fun with it versus when I'm not.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. Sounds good. Now you play Flux support. How long you been playing Flux support?
Um, since Overwatch 1 at some point, I played a lot of off tank as well in Overwatch 1,
Interesting.
but I've pretty much only been doing support for the most part in Overwatch 1. I did some DPS for a while
Interesting. Okay.
when the queue times got too long for
Okay.
support, but
Okay. Makes
pretty much
sense.
since 2 came out.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. And why? You said off tank in particular, but why have you kind of transitioned more towards support play in general, and stuck with it apparently?
Um, I liked Kiriko a lot when she came out, so I was playing a lot of her. And then that off tank role kind of went away to an extent when 2 came out, so I
Yeah, that'll
wasn't
do it.
as comfortable on Hog and Zarya.
That'll do it.
Um, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
do like Junker Queen a lot though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Um,
Sounds good. Now, on the forum, you say, what do you hope to get out of the session to improve as much as possible and to understand how to better apply information when given in game? Oh, wait, no, I'm looking at the wrong forum here. Hang on a second. You would be like, you're about self VOD review.
yeah,
You're okay. So you said time will tell. Okay. What did the time tell?
What was it that I said exactly
You
about
said,
time will tell?
you said, would you like, I would like to be better at picking up my own issues while reviewing my own VODs. I've watched the self VOD
Right.
review and so on. Well, that's the
I have
question.
not put in too much work to trying that, to be honest. I haven't played nearly as much as I should have in the last few weeks.
Okay.
More so in the last week or so, I've been picking it up again, but
Sure.
um, I have found that I did try it earlier last week, just like picking one thing, like cover usage, because I think I get lazy with my cover usage on Kiriko.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as soon as I get in game, no matter how much beforehand I'm like, I need to focus on this, I just get distracted. It kind of like completely leaves my brain. And maybe I just need to throw the game more and really, really, really focus on that one thing and forget everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Yeah. I'm seeing that through the rest of your forum. I feel like you need to just focus and trying to make sure that you're staying on whatever you're supposed to be practicing and like how to do that better. Okay. Makes sense. Now, are we looking at support or DPS? Because I know that was a question on the forum too.
Support. Yeah, I've been back on Kiriko.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You play Overwatch around 10 hours per week. Now, I guess I want to go back actually to a previous question because you say how often, how long do you play Overwatch, and you say 10 hours per week, and then you're like, well, you've not been playing as much as I should, and so on. But what does that mean? Like as much as you should? Oh, I should be playing better.
Enough to have some kind of consistency. As opposed to like, I get in one day I'm hot, one day I'm cold. Just because I don't play. I'll go sometimes like a week or two without playing.
Right.
And like I said, I coming back from like a few months of kind of being on and off.
Sure. Sure.
Back when I was working with Awkward is when I was playing the most.
Yeah.
Playing a lot more every week. That was definitely the most I had put into the game. And I think when I have like the focus to put into it, I'm a little bit more consistent. But
Makes sense. But when you don't necessarily have goals, you don't necessarily have the motivation.
yeah, And I think the next season coming out helps with that too, because there's a whole new rank. There's the
Sure.
card system going away, which I hate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Makes
I think
sense.
playing will be a little bit more rewarding.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. I would just say that I would be very attentive to like try to be a little bit more self-aware of like what's kind of coming and going with these motivations. Obviously, like having some sort of external motivation with like, awkward coaching and new things to practice and new things to learn or a new hero or a new season or whatever is great.
Yeah.
But I'd be careful about like what are the internal reasons that kind of lead to you dipping out or taking a break in the first place. And avoiding those, not just because like, you're going to cost your improvement, but also like you're probably stopping, not because you don't want to improve, but because you're not having fun playing the game anymore.
Yeah.
And like, that's like, I think that's a natural cycle of things for sure. But I think that the older I've gotten with a lot of my hobbies, I used to burn out in hobbies a lot more because I pushed them a lot harder. And then I realized that like, geez, I'm like ruining things that I actually enjoy when I could have just taken a step back or managed my time better or maybe not gone quite as hard or like set the goals beyond my actual motivations. Like everyone gets like super ambitious. Like I'm going to be like top 500, right? But like not being like self-honest and being like, maybe that's not my biggest goal because then you go for top 500 and you burn yourself out in Masters instead of like, oh man, I could have just not played for top 500 and still enjoyed the game, So I don't know. I don't want to overthink that one too much on your end, but I do think that putting a little bit of effort into some self-awareness about what your motivations truly are just might help you keep yourself engaged in the game just a little bit longer.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I definitely think it's that toxic improvement mindset, right? Where it's like, I gotta improve, improve, and all of a sudden you're like, wait, I don't enjoy the game anymore. What the frick,
I think one of the biggest things for me when I started playing less back like season 4 or 5 was just the queue times got so out of hand for support.
Oh yeah.
I felt like I was spending more time in queue than in game.
Yeah, I mean that's like one of those things. That's one of those things where it's like it really is totally out of your control.
Yeah.
Right. Like it really is not a surprise that anybody's demotivated. Or like for example, like maybe it's just me, but Malgameta. It's like I think like that's something that's like that's just not fun for anybody. So it's like it's not like oh the problem is me. There's definitely external factors in that, but it's like whatever is internal, focus on doing that as much as you can. Okay.
I was also back then doing only solo queue, which for some reason is a lot longer queue times.
Oh, interesting.
Just because I wanted to prove to myself that I could get there by myself. But I play with some other people now from time to time, so not as big of an issue.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay. Playing 10 hours per week. Now, how is that time spent? Is that mostly just ranked, I assume?
Only ranked, yeah.
Okay. And do you take breaks and do you warm up?
I'll warm up for like 5-10 minutes and just like Vaxta. Take breaks in between if I feel like I need one. Usually I'm fine, but
sure. Okay.
If there's a game that's really tilting.
Okay. Fair enough. 10 hours is not bad. I think it's especially depending on how that time is spent. And it sounds like that how that time is spent is like definitely a major factor with you losing focus quickly. Now, I'm curious because you know it's an issue, obviously. So have you tried anything specific to try and address that issue where you see like I'm really struggling to maintain focus on developing that skill for like any reasonable length of time?
Not really. I have found like back when I was playing more, it gets better the more time I put into it. And I don't know if that's just, more things are becoming second nature. So there's more brain power available to actually think about things. Yeah.
Probably. I assume you're probably getting like you play and you're rusty. And so everything feels like a challenge, right?
Yeah. I feel like I'm kind of getting back into it now. So that it might just be that.
Yeah. I have a video on that as well. Let me see if I can. It's just a really quick thing that I'll be able to explain better through the video than I will here. But basically, the idea is it's just called the 2-fight rule. I don't know where it's just basically like you only focus on something for the first 2 fights, and then you just kind of let yourself go. Because I think like there's this impression that you have to be like fully dialed in for the entire game, and that's like definitely optimal, but it's not reasonable for most people, especially depending on when and how much you play and if you're working or how much sleep that you get and so on. So I think that like even if it's just like a fraction of the game you're focused, that's all right. We can work with that. It's like you've gotten to where you are today, even with this setback, right? So why couldn't you just do more, right? Like you could just do more of what you're doing, just keep the ball rolling. I mean, obviously you're aiming for a higher rank, but it's definitely something that I don't think will necessarily fully hinder you. Okay. Let's keep going here. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. Last thing I'll say on that note, though, is definitely sleep. 6 hours of sleep, right? Not great,
Yeah.
and that is definitely going to be like a huge factor when it comes to the issue that you brought up. Is it going to be the only reason why you have the issue? Of course not, right? But that would be a low hanging fruit, so to speak, when it comes to helping that issue just a little bit.
Yeah, I have started in the last week and a half trying to like really cut back on my caffeine, so hopefully that'll help
Good.
with that.
Well, it depends when the caffeine is really, right?
Yeah,
Like
I try to be pretty good about that too, but
sure. Okay, makes
one
sense.
last
Makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think the thing with anything is it's like it doesn't have to be like cut the caffeine or just
yeah.
make sure that you're consuming caffeine, 30 minutes earlier than you normally would. That's not an unimpactful adjustment. Something that you can small, something you can stick with. So yeah, okay. I don't really have anything else from your forum. Obviously, you talk about like what do you feel is holding back from improving understanding. We'll address that in here. Focus, sleep will help with that. Motivation will help with that. Playtime will help with that. Also, having goals from this review will help with that as well. And then also playtime. Well, I mean, external motivation, internal motivation. Again, I don't really have anything else to add here. Do you have anything else?
There are some other things that might come up. I've got some notes I've taken, but
Sure.
probably come up
Sure.
during the VODs.
Okay. If they don't, just let me know
Okay.
halfway through the review and be like, hey, I got some questions. And we'll take a look. Okay. Shoot me a code if you got one.
Yeah. This one from the other day.
Right. And you said this is Kiriko?
Yes. I try my best to, if I'm trying to improve, just one character only.
This you here?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it. All right. So you know what Awkward's theory with Kiriko is. You probably have a pretty good idea of what my theory with Kiriko is. The difference is relatively minor. For me, it's more about like timing the off angle well. I think that really the major difference between me and Awkward is that I think that he puts a lot of priority on proximity with Kiriko, I think. And I think that's one thing I disagree with him. I think it's dependent on what you're playing versus. But besides that, it's just, doing the same kind of things. So if any questions come up, just let me know.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I will say this. I think a lot of this is kind of the awareness of when and what you're dealing with. There's actually no reason for you to TP here.
Yeah, I was thinking that too when I was watching this back. I feel like that's a problem I've always had, even like back when I was a little bit better than I am now.
So what's the problem though? Like we've diagnosed the symptom, right? But like, what's the actual issue here?
Just not being aware of like who's looking at me or what dangers are actually present.
Sure.
Like obviously I can stay here. No one's actually shooting me at him full health.
Right.
But I just kind of get like scared and TP out, I suppose.
The whole value of the angle is the distraction, right? Obviously it's the kill opportunities that provide that distraction, but obviously it's like, even if you don't get the kill from here on out, if you're able to stay here safely and continue to pressure this is what's going to be allowing your team to win this fight. So, you look at this and you're like, oh, hey, gee, I wonder what this guy would have been looking at instead of my Cassidy, right? Yeah. If you'd stayed here. And the reason why you're like, well, he couldn't have just headshot me. Well, no, because what's an easier shot? A Cassidy shooting at a target that he's not even looking, or a Hanzo shooting at a target that's not even looking at him, or me looking directly at that Hanzo. I mean, that's the thing is like what you do is you're forcing these threats to look at you. And as long as they're looking at you, you're safe as well. It's when you're not looking at them, that's when you're at a threat. And that was the same for your Cassidy. So, okay. The rule of Overwatch is always, you want to be looking your threats in the eye or avoiding them entirely. There's no in between.
Yeah. My nemesis too.
Yeah. This is fine.
I think I looked over, saw he was low, and didn't know why. And was behind us.
The thing when this kind of thing happens is just about reestablishing your positioning when you can. So it's like, for example, here it's like, okay, as they walk through the choke, we keep healing. Sure, that's an unfortunate Suzu. But don't get sucked too far into like this negative healing loop. Yeah. Awkward be screaming at the screen here. But like I understand this all. Obviously, that Miss Suzu is sucky. But like right here, he's okay. He's got Lucio. The Zarya's kind of isolated. He's got HP. And the crucial thing is you do have the angle. I mean, I don't even need to ask you. You already know where I'm talking about, right? Like this angle is available to you and it's right there. go put the pressure on the backline from there. Because I think your Ramattra is more than safe enough to live several seconds without your assistance. That character tends to do that. And so it's another one of those situations where it's like, because obviously maybe we TP out or Ram takes too much damage or we don't take the angle when we could have, it puts us in one of those negative loops, right? Where it's like, we never really stop the bleeding, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think I just didn't see Hanzo here.
Right, and then why didn't you see Hanzo? Attention's on healing, attention's not on your threats, and so you die to your threats. So, again, if you are going to heal, you need to make sure that you are not exposing yourself to threats unnecessarily.
Yeah.
Suzu's a little late as well here. I think one of the things with Suzu is it's just as much of anticipation as it is reaction.
Yeah.
You walk this here and you see a squishy taking space here. Your positioning is aggressive for sure. But like your response immediately should be there to Suzu because he is critical, obviously. But also look at where he's positioned.
Yeah, right in the middle.
Right in the middle. So this should be a Suzu now. Like right now, it should already be leaving your hands. There's a Hanzo directly behind you. Don't know if you know that. Yeah.
Probably did not.
All right. Nice. Good. No, he's fine. Go. Come on. Use it. That's unfortunate. That's all right. Hanzo. That's all right. It was a good try.
I do feel very trigger happy with my ults in general. Some of it's limit testing, some of it's inting.
Okay. Well, we'll keep an eye on it because that ult was totally fine.
Okay.
Winnable fight. That's all that we need to know. Kiriko's ult is insanely easy to use.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, "How do I use Kitsune?" And it's not that hard.
Well, I've been trying to use it more too, in like some of the like off angle situations where maybe I'm just like with one DPS.
Yeah, that's
those
good.
kind of situations because I feel like I've pretty much only ever used it in team fights.
Yeah, that's good.
I know you've suggested that a lot.
Yep. Now, are you checking this flank to use it for yourself, or do you hear somebody over here? Remember?
I want to say I thought I heard someone.
All right, sounds good.
But it may have been both.
This is one of those situations where I think like, okay, so this is a good question. You are trying to execute the awkward, order 66 or awkward, right? And you don't have time to set up, right? Like you're coming back in, you don't have time to set up. What's the solution here?
I'm not sure.
I think this is where you got to use a little bit of creativity. So I want you to think about it for a second. I'm just going to give you a little bit of cheating here just to give you full information about what's going on with your setup from your team. Give me a solution. Let's say even now.
Getting what would I do right now?
Yeah. What should you do right now?
What should I do? Could maybe go up top and go behind him.
Sure.
High ground.
How long would that take? You're saying this angle here?
Yeah, I mean, if I was just playing normally, I probably wouldn't do that just because it would take a while. 4 or 5 seconds.
I mean, I don't even know if it'd take that long. Consider this. Like, you could start and do what you're doing now from here.
Yeah.
And then walk. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you go from your heal bot position, but you'd use that as an opportunity to transition into a deeper angle.
Yeah.
And heck, you could even follow your Genji here. You really should follow your Genji here.
I think I'd TP to him, yeah.
But notice how your first attention is backwards.
Yeah.
Heal. Okay, now we help, but now now he's dead. See that?
I think I play a lot more passively more than I need to when we have like a Lucio or a Zen. I just get really worried about healing.
Right. No, I understand that. I mean, it makes total sense, but also at that same point in time, like you're playing with a tank that can survive a long time on his own. I mean, if you think about it, like who is the first person to die here? It's not your Ramattra. Your Ramattra is like one of the last persons to die here. It was your Genji, right? It was your Genji, right? So I don't know. Something to keep in mind. I think like you have to find that balance between, okay, I'm healing my tank. I'm looking for windows. I'm looking for opportunities where I can like positions or angles where I can transition to backline smoothly.
Yeah.
It's obviously not as simple as just take an angle forehead, right? But you need to be looking for those transition points. Like right now, this is good. What should you be doing right now?
Going top right?
Right. Transition from this position here, heal your Hanzo, set up your angle from here, right? You're in a perfect spot to do that. And instead, you're just kind of holding on back, and then you're even disengaging from this position here. I don't see any reason for this disengage. I see no reason for this. You were in a perfect position to transition into the awkward angle, and you gave it up, right?
I wonder if I didn't realize that Hanzo died, because I got pushed out of there from him earlier.
Right, but even then, it's like, does he have its Sonics, right? Does he have a Sonic? If not, then that's probably a 1v1 I'm more willing to take. One other thing too, just a minor detail, but it's pretty important. Once you look at your crosshair placement, I've noticed this 3 or 4 times in this review. Check this crosshair placement. So obviously you know how your projectiles work. No fall off, no dip like a Hanzo shot. Check this. You see this crosshair?
Yeah, a little low.
That's gut height, right? And then it comes back as well. That's also gut height right there. That's gut height as well. It's just a little too low, and it's multiple shots back to back at not head height. So just keep an eye on that habit. That's a really small adjustment, but it's a very impactful one. Let's be honest, half the time you're not aiming your kunai with this character. So the crosshair placement with this character is more important than it is with other ones. Nice. This needs to be, oh, my Ram has Nemesis form. You should know this. You should see this. This is not necessary.
Okay.
Very important. One of the best things that you can do with Kiriko when it comes to Suzu, and this is something I've been coaching for over 1.5 years now, is track 1 cooldown.
Okay.
Deflect would be good to track for your Genji, but probably too complicated, too difficult, so we won't set the bar there. But you can certainly track your Bram's Nemesis form, or your Orisa's Fortifier, or whatever, right? Even if you're like, oh, well, I'm just going to ult, it's okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Still long enough cooldown to justify holding onto it. I like this. This is kind of what we want, right? Where it's like, okay, there's an opportunity to transition to backline if they overpush. You can still heal your team. If you have an angle here, you have a TP if they push you. If they don't push you, you have a really nice sightline. This is perfect. This is what I would call healthy heal bot. Okay. Right? The unfortunate thing is you don't really have a transition to angle and backline, but this is as good as your position allows, right? So this is fine. And honestly, if you wanted to, you could rotate to here if you'd like to. You could, yeah. That's fine. That's fine. That's nano ram ult, and then obviously your Lucio's a little slow with the beat. But yeah, that's okay. Let's put it this way. If you're going to heal bot with this character, just make sure it actually makes sense where you do it. Where you have an opportunity to take an angle or you're split from your backline. Because the crucial thing there is that angle, if they push you, you in theory have a safe teleport. Right? So if you're going to heal bot, oh yeah, that's unfortunate. If you're going to heal bot, do it in a position to where you have an escape route. Not stacked behind your tank. Do it. Do it. You can make that, right? You can you?
I don't know. I definitely didn't think I could at the time.
Okay, that might be something to actually go try. I'm curious.
Yeah. Because I was like waiting for my Genji to go up there.
Famous last words. This should work. If that's not an option, then where's healthy heal bot?
Top right, like where the Lucio's maybe?
Probably top right, yeah. And then honestly, I think that you could heal here, and then I think you could also just transition into an awkward angle here. I think this is probably your best bet. Now, be careful about when you do this because you are awfully close to Genji. This is fine too. Obviously, it's a little important that it costs your teleport, but it's all right.
And that's something I was watching from one of your reviews earlier today, is trying to take the play that uses the least cooldowns.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny here because when's the last time you healed your Ram?
Yeah.
And yet, look at your Ram's HP. It's actually going up. It's going up. Because look, this is why, right? So he's here. Why is the Ram blocking? Well, because more of your DPS are engaged than his. Why are his supports and DPS in such a bad position? Well, because of you and the Genji, right? I mean, look at the Zenyatta. Part of that's because of Dragon, but also part of that's because of you. So it's like one of those things where it's like, if you take these positions, a good enough position at a good time, then you don't even need to heal.
Didn't know if that was necessary there.
I think it's the Suzu that's unnecessary.
Suzu, okay.
Yeah, you look at this guy's position, you have to trust that he's not going to brain dead feed, you know?
Yeah.
It looks I don't know if this is on purpose. It's just two of them, but it does look like you're very frivolous with your Suzu when you know you're going to ult.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Like you look at that there, and it's like almost like you were like, "Oh, I'm just going to ult, so it doesn't matter." But yeah, just keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Any questions so far? Any of the questions that you would have liked to have asked at this point in time that you haven't asked? Let me know.
I did want to ask about how to evaluate. I have it for carry ult specifically, but I think it applies to a lot of things. How to evaluate things not based on the results. Like, how do I know something's good or bad besides just, oh, it worked or it didn't?
It checks the box that you were looking for. So you have to be very familiar with the topic that you're discussing for you to be able to give yourself objective feedback. Mm-hmm. I have the benefit of giving thousands and thousands of hours of coaching, and really even hundreds of hours of just Kiriko coaching, right? So I have a significant advantage over you. Get rolled. However, the goal is at the end of this review that you have a good enough grasp to where you can ask yourself, is there an opportunity where I could have like deepened my angle here and put more offensive pressure? Okay. Right? Or, was I tracking my tank's cooldown to judge whether that Suzu was reasonable or not? Yeah. Or was that Kitsune Rush like reasonable given the context? And you don't even have to be 100% sure because you're probably not going to be. But if you're within 90% sure that this was like probably the best angle or there was an angle available or I timed this well, I just got, and that Suzu felt like it was necessary, then you're good. You don't even, like the thing is you don't have to be 100% objective with your feedback. You just have to be 51% objective with your feedback. And if you're more objective than just straight up playing the game, then you overall will be making positive growth. And more importantly, the more that you give yourself feedback and review and like study your own gameplay and think about your own gameplay, you'll get better at coaching yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you think I was a great Kiriko coach the first time around? I mean, I was passable, but no. So it's like you, like anybody else, will learn to improve. So like right now, is there a better angle than where you're at right now for positioning?
If I was in this game right now, I'd probably want to go through that window and try to...
Here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
More annoying for them. They have to turn, not look at my team.
Okay. This allow you to transition to an offensive pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get to the supports a little bit easier.
It's a little awkward, right? Because it is very close, no pun intended. Yeah, that was a good one. Did you hear that? It's a little awkward because it was a little close. I mean, that's a 2 for 2 pun right there. But yeah, it's just absolutely. You can still escape. You have a TP angle. I don't mind your angle now necessarily. It's not too bad. But especially in the Nanoblade, I think going for more of a backline trade here. But yeah, I think that like even though there's some, it's a little bit of a head scratcher here, right? I think Awkward might have wanted you to start on an angle like this here, which honestly I would have been fine with as well, frankly. But This is fine. This is fine. So you're good enough. You're good enough.
That was bad. Thought he went to it.
I mean, it's bad. It's bad. But is it a silly mistake or is it a major bad habit?
I would lean silly mistake.
Right. So you know what we do with silly mistakes? We don't give a frick. We don't care. We don't really. We really. I mean, obviously, unless a silly mistake happens frequently. And that's a habit, right? See what's not a silly mistake is how little impact that you've had on trading.
Yeah, could I have gone more left and like behind them there, or is backing?
I mean, I think you had to back given where you started.
Okay,
but it's another one of those situations where it's like their Nanoblade. The guy like completely crapped the bed. Look at this.
Yeah.
But they win this fight regardless. Why?
No impact for me.
No impact for you, and not only for you, your entire team kind of just pressed S, right? That's the worst part, and that's actually worse than dying in Nanoblade because it gives them ult charge. It drags out the process. You see that? So that's kind of where it's like, okay, can I peel a Nanoblade? Maybe, maybe not. Probably not. So then just trade backlines. Like just take your angles and play for that. And that certainly would have maybe forced a trance. Maybe gotten a trade, even one kill there would have mattered a lot in the situation. Yeah. So I don't know. So you could coach yourself there and be like, yeah, that was bad. That could have been better. This rollout looks reasonable to me. Suzu? Good? What do you think of this fight from you?
I mean, definitely, no one's on cart, but I think it felt like the only winning play is going to help the Genji, and
Yeah, I agree. Was your initial angle okay?
I didn't feel like I was doing much.
But stop. But see, that's where you're being subjective.
Okay.
You're judging it based off of what I felt like I was doing, not with the intention of me taking this angle in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't really know where else I could have.
I don't know either. Would you prefer to run to Ramatra? Maybe you could have teleported to backline there into your Winston, but I don't even know if that would have been any different. You had a good angle. Even your Suzu was reasonable here. Just didn't work. That's all. So that's where we get objective. We don't really care if the result doesn't speak for itself because there's too many variables to consider here. So, any questions so far?
I don't think so. It's all made sense.
Okay, so what are you seeing so far as being potential points of practice? Potential points of practice. Pretty.
The small thing earlier with the crosshair placement for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Trusting my team to not just die a little bit more, hold the off angles a little bit longer, get them to turn around.
I think it's the Lucio combo that you got to worry about here, right? That Lucio combo is definitely discouraging you from taking the angles that you normally would. And it's so much so that you're not even considering if there's a position where you can do a little bit of both. Like a little bit of a heel bot angle that has the opportunity to deepen into DPS. You're not even considering those. It's kind of like shut your brain off just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Suzu usage, I think it could be a lot better.
Well, what needs to be better with the Suzu usage?
Just thinking about it a little more, maybe holding onto. Well, the one earlier was too late.
You see what I'm asking? Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? You can't just say Suzu usage needs to improve. That doesn't help you at all in game.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Remember the Ramatra, the one where you TP and used it? Yeah. What we're noticing is two things. I don't know how consistent of a problem they are, but we're thinking. Number one, you weren't necessarily tracking your Nemesis form perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's definitely something you can objectively practice. I have a tank cooldown. I track the tank cooldown. Second thing is you really liked the Suzu, and whenever you were very flippant with your Suzu when you had an ultimate.
Right, yeah.
And that's another thing that you can very objectively practice. Is that going to be a massive life-changing fix? No, it's not. Is it going to be useful? Yeah, probably. That's pretty much it. Okay. Any questions beyond that?
Nope.
Okay, let's keep going. Obviously, we'll fine-tune that list the more that we take a look here. So like here, for example, this is exactly what we want. Why? What does this angle provide you?
I'm able to heal my queen, and I'm also able to go left here and
that's it.
Damage the Zen and everyone.
And I think at this point in time, it's time to go. And there you go. Good Suzu. Good Suzu, but asterisks, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this deserves a teleport back.
Yeah.
In fact, I think if you teleport back, you screw your queen over because I need to make sure this Hanzo and Zenyatta do not peek your jungle queen because no amount of healing will stop them from killing your jungle queen.
Yeah.
So at this point in time, stay. So you're like, oh, we got her pick. We got her one. Uh-oh. You get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You got your one, and yet, I mean, that should have been another queen kill right there. That you got your one, but you stopped doing your job elsewhere, and so this healing will not stop the hemorrhage. You see how bad this feels?
Mm-hmm.
That's on you. That's your job. That's like a Tracer getting a backline kill with Pulse Swim and then running over and shooting the Rein Shield.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. You cannot heal that much. You have to stop the hemorrhaging. And again, at the Hanzo uncontested, Zenyatta uncontested is still popping up. And it's the worst thing about it is you have had the opportunity to re-deepen this angle for like the last 15 seconds and you've not taken it. Yeah. And isn't that poetic? The threat that you didn't see because you're too busy healing kills you again. Tricky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it this way. Here's the psychology, right? versus these comps where you need to be taking, I mean, really anything that you need to be taking angles. When you don't have a lot of healing in your Junker Queen, the only thing that you could do is make sure that you absorb the damage for your Junker Queen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, you were saying something.
I was just say I think something I need to like change in my mind. I feel like once I get any value, like when I killed the Anna earlier,
Right.
at the very beginning, or get that Suzu off on the Queen, something just makes me feel like, okay, I've done this. Now I can go back and do that healing. I don't know what that is.
Right. Well, it feels like you've already won the fight. Not realizing that you have the opportunity to go back and kick your value up again. You know what it is? I don't know how much professional American football you follow, but it's like the equivalent of like scoring one touchdown in like the first half and then going to like prevent defense the rest of the game. Where you're like, oh, I'm gonna give up the short yardage stuff. I'm just not gonna give up the long play stuff. But it's like, bro, you're only up one score. You're just gonna let them chip you all the way down the field and you're gonna lose the game. It's like just because you have a small advantage or even a significant advantage doesn't mean you just let off the pressure.
Yeah.
Because that's what made this fight so ugly. Okay. Uh-oh. Wait, what happened here?
I don't even remember.
What was that hinder?
Yeah. I didn't think we were going to be so split, I think is what happened.
Let's enjoy this poetic moment. Yeah, that's definitely a real ability. Did you just see that?
Yeah.
It just changed targets. Okay, well. Yeah, that's something. Okay, well, I mean, look at your comp. As if you needed any more reason to take an angle when you're playing with a Sigma.
Yeah.
Just doesn't take damage. Cart. That's fine.
I imagine, I was probably just waiting to...
That's fine.
Well, hopefully that's why.
I mean, even then, it's like, as long as, if you need to push card, it's fine.
Yeah.
I just look at this here, and let's be honest. You're not really going to win the fight here. All you're doing is you're just trading ultimates and pushing the card.
Yeah.
If you want to win the fight, this is what needs to happen. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The question is this the best transition for you? Or is there a better one available? And this is where we need to be objective.
I'm thinking about up top, going overhead, or if I just did what I'm doing now, but earlier.
Yeah, maybe. I'm wondering also right, honestly. This probably feels better. This feels slightly faster to me, at least a second or two faster. Okay. So this is just where you need to look at the situation, and you're always going to have at least two options.
Yeah.
So then you need to ask yourself, okay, what's the best option, or what do I need? Or if you're not sure, what should I try next time? Because this just takes you long. This just takes you long. I mean, it also doesn't help that the jacks, wonkies. There goes the ultimate. But still, like this is like fine and all. And you guys still might trade this because you guys have all the angles on him. There you go. Unbelievable that you guys win this fight, really.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a little bit of sarcasm. You took an angle. You win the fight. That's it. Eventually.
I think we won it.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, especially.
Good, Susie. Now transition, right? Transition. What should you do?
Guess go up top near the stairs, top right.
Yeah, top right again. Let's go.
Yeah.
Don't waste time. Because that also prevents them from clutching too. Because I'm telling you, like, if I'm playing Zen here, and this is it, you know? I'm not standing here. I'm rotating around behind, and I'm going to go kill two people. Yeah. So what's going to happen is you're going to run into people trying to clutch the fight on those angles, which is exactly what you want. You don't want to give them the element of surprise.
Yeah.
Okay. So that should be a full cap here. Kiriko moment. This is the kind of Suzu that really tilts me. This is kind of the Genji on third point. It's not just the tank one. It's the one when the Genji is clearly behind cover, and you're like, oh, they're critical. I need to Suzu that. No. If they die there, that's on them.
Okay.
Nice. Thought you were the sniper. The irony of that statement is a character that requires less aim and... I'm curious to see how she feels actually after the Tuesday.
Yeah, Kiriko.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that. I feel like obviously our breakpoint changes, but so does everyone else's.
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well. Yeah. My question is her hitbox still going to be an advantage? Should be.
Yeah.
Petunia Rush is here, good. Good. Remember, transition. This is what's happening. You know what it is? It is psychological for you, at least I feel like, at least in part, to where it's like, it's not just a pick makes you leave your angle. It's any sort of advantage at all.
Yeah.
Where you're like, oh, we got a Petunia Rush. We're popping, right? We're popping. We're good. Let's get nice and cozy. Get a nice blanket, snuggie, hot cocoa. No, stop. This is not a one fight at all.
Yeah.
Because the Ram is just sitting there absorbing the entire Petunia Rush because that's all your team has an angle on. This is where you have to do something like this, or you have to find a way to transition into like a heal bot angle like this that allows you to deepen here, right? I understand there's not a lot of options here, but I just came up with 2 immediately, and I promise you would have came up with the same if you thought about it for 2 seconds. Because, bless me, right? We're screwed.
Yeah.
He almost did it again. Oh my gosh. Good. I mean, really, actually really good. Look at the chaos that you provide, right? You found a window. Okay, we're beating. We're fine. My Sigma's okay. Let's look at the detention here. Zen, Sojourn, Soldier, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get Discord. You get Sleep Dart. Soldier gets rocked because he's looking at you. So then Ana transitions to, oh shoot, my Zen is 1. Starts to heal, or Soldier's 1. Stands in the open because she's not able to rotate, and then dies. Meanwhile, the Zenyatta and Soldier have also been completely out of the fight for the last 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And so the Ram's HP starts to snowball in the opposite direction. He loses all of his armor. The Soldier never actually even gets to end up getting healed back fully from the rock that he took and dies to your Genji. Ramatra's still 1. You fail to keep your Sojourn alive, but it doesn't matter because the backline in theory should get traded. There's Zen, and now Sigma is going to kill Sojourn. And then now Ramatra's by himself, your Genji feeds. But you see how like this snowballs really badly for the enemy team off of not even a good flank. Like you were just kind of like, hey, look at me, everybody, and then you left. You had like a couple body shots. That's it.
Make that play once I feel like we've lost the advantage. I just need to keep doing it.
Yeah. I would say as well here, like when you teleport out, again, where should you transition to again? Obvious question here, right? Where should you go?
I would probably just go top again.
Go top again, because the irony here is because you're stacked with your backline, you actually have terrible vision on your Sojourn. Yeah. So then you try to heal her, you miss the Suzu, you miss the healing, and you actually just don't heal your Sojourn at all. Mm-hmm. So even if you want to heal bot here, there is no reason for you to be on top of the people that you're heal botting. In fact, it's an actively negative thing. Yeah. So you should heal your Sojourn, and or if the Sojourn's not a problem, go back and do it again. It makes sense?
Yeah.
That way you don't even have to teleport out. You could have just walked in the backline and then teleported out from here. Character. Don't get, this is it again, you notice it? Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck. You have an advantage, doesn't mean that you can stay here. Rotate left, rotate right. Even just this is fine. Going up, you could go up top here, right? You could do all sorts of things. Again, if you want a heal bot, you do not want to be on top of the people that you're heal botting.
Yeah.
How much damage does a body shot do onto a blocking Ram? Is it 50% damage reduction or 60? Maybe it's more, 70?
No idea.
I'm just gonna say it's like, I'm actually curious now. I want to say it's like 70% of 45, which is like 30%, 40, like 13 damage or 14 damage, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions so far?
I had another thing I had written down here.
Sure.
With Kitsune.
Yes.
Is there obviously like if you're in a neutral state, using it to gain an advantage, that's good.
Yes.
Should I be wary about using it in like comeback situations? We lose one and then I use it to like come back from a fight. That
I think any ultimate can come back from a fight. Not the problem, but the Kitsune Rush mentality is no different than any other ultimate when it comes to coming back. You could beat to come back, you could barrage, you could nano, you can Malgold. The question is two things. Cooldowns, what cooldowns have been used that allow us to kill them, right? Like they blew a lot of cooldowns. We still have our cooldowns, we can kill them. But more importantly for you, and this one's gonna be really pertinent, positioning, angles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, let's play this fight out just for a little bit. I think one of your teammates dies. Yeah, so your Lucio dies. Okay. You are on the angle here. And your Sigma and Sojourn and Genji are here. If you had Kitsune Rush when this Malga rushes here, I would not hesitate to use Kitsune Rush myself right here.
Okay.
Because they have just 3, 2, 1, especially if they're just running it down right. You have a free angle, you could pop off. You can kill 2 people here.
Yeah.
Why? Because but this angle is totally free. So when you're asking, like, is this fight clutchable? Ask yourself, do we still have high ground? Do we still have off angles? Do we still have space? If so, then yes. Because you have a free path to kill backline. Make sense?
Yeah.
A little bit of an esoteric kind of an answer, but it's kind of what you're looking for. Is like, do I have a good position? Do I have a good angle? This is just really sloppy.
This is all, really, really.
It's just not well timed, to be honest with you. They haven't really committed to anything. This is like really, really poor. Your Genji, Sojourn, Sigma are totally out of this fight, and you guys go in for a Pharah, and then your teleport is bad, and then your Suzu you get your Suzu Forest, and then this is just a mess.
Yeah.
It's just bad timing, terrible timing. I don't know who called that, but they should be shot. That was horrific.
I was not in voice, so.
Okay, well there you go. We'll blame it on your Lucio, the guy that's Ajaxed twice. Wait, no, not twice. Almost twice. Okay, don't get stuck. Don't get stuck.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck.
Like especially with the Lucio dying first, I just got.
And there it is. And there it is. What kills your guy? Kills your guy. Right? Yeah, Zen, it's Ana, it's Genji, it's Pharah, it's everything that you could have distracted from the soft angle. And not only that, but you actually had a +1 opportunity as well. Check it. You know? Oh my gosh. Like, and he ends up backing off, right? Just for a brief second, like, this is just criminal. Like, that was your opportunity to clutch this fight right there. That was it right there. So I think a lot of it is that when I'm playing with a quote-unquote off healer, right? And in these mid-fight scenarios especially, it's like you don't really think about re-establishing real hero. You don't really think about establishing the positions again.
Yeah.
You start with the awkward mindset often and then give up on it after the first time through. Like, it's still there. Still go back up top of here. Like, I would not be bailing on this. I would be doing this. Well, first off, I think this is too early. I think you need to let them move forward a little bit because your team has to walk through the choke. And certainly if you pop this here, where should you go?
Top left. Top
left, right? Just to make sure that they don't try to pincer and to make sure that you're there to cut off their escape. Because you're not going to kill a Nano Malga with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in general, they're letting them out of the choke just a little bit would have been good. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Good Suzu. Just because his positioning was bad.
I think we actually do win this.
Same thing.
But it's messy.
That's unfortunate for her. Yeah, okay. Nice. Let's keep going here. It's actually crazy their Malga died. Like, actually criminal. Kiriko Lucio kills a Malga. That's whack. Yep. Tank was AFK, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Fine. Nah. Yeah. You're good. You're good. You're good. You're good. Trust. You have corner. You have mini. And again, as long as you're pulling attention this way, do you notice how, like, look at the Torb.
Yeah.
Get your tank's HP. You know? And then you die to the angle that you abandoned, right? Yeah. That's whack, isn't it? It's like poetry. Okay, that's no longer the angle. The angle's right side, so we could pocket this. Pressure back on main. Heal him a little bit. Pressure back here. Rotate back to your Sojourn. See, I don't even necessarily mind what you're doing right now because you are kind of supporting both angles, but then just look for a window with which to push.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Use it. Use it. Oh, that's good. Winnable. Okay. Where should you go right now?
I would want to go up top again.
Up top, behind. Right? Wall climb, clutch behind. What? The only way that you win this fight is if you clutch squishies. Right. Surely you'll demech the diva. You will not. Okay? Take it, go. Oh, it's unfortunate. Man, you had so many opportunities right here.
Yeah.
Or there. You gotta go. You gotta be decisive. Stay here. Sure. A little bit of weave here. It's fine. Heart attack.
I don't think I even TP'd in time. I think it.
No, you didn't. You just straight up got nerked and somehow lived.
Yeah.
You know what? We're seeing it again here. We're good, guys. Everyone's happy. We're safe, right? So what does that mean? We take the foot off the gas pedal. You see it?
Yeah.
So here it's like, okay, a little bit of healing there. It's fine. And then, oh, the diva's low. We'll finish the kill on the diva. No, make sure that this diva's death is in vain. And what I mean is that she's going to die regardless. So what I want to make sure is that these guys back here don't capitalize off of her quote unquote space creation.
Yeah.
And that's your responsibility. Thank you. That was beautiful. Good Suzu as well. Good Suzu. Probably did not need to teleport there, but sure.
I think I probably thought that I couldn't spam from over there with the window.
Yeah. Fair. Now, you be the guy to make the play here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then
that's also that's I guess you made the play there, you know. Okay, so let's take some notes here because I think more than anything else, it's not just like, oh, duh, do this more, or you need to be taking angles as Kiriko. Like that is clearly something that you're aware of and have practiced, and not only practiced, but have had a lot of success practicing, given the fact that you went from Diamond to GM. But here we go. Where are the gaps in that understanding, or just where are the gaps in that execution?
I feel like when I get that advantage, I feel like that's the biggest thing that I've noticed here is that I just don't continue the loop. I get too comfortable and I just need to keep doing the same thing. But even after we have the advantage. I may not have understood the full question there.
No, that's fine. I'm taking the notes here.
Okay.
How does that look?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like it's when you get that pick. It's not just when you get a pick though. It's definitely when you get a pick, but sometimes even when you don't, it's just after that first cycle you give up. Right? You just kind of, okay. And the worst part about it is you do have some options available and you don't take them.
Yeah.
It's a different story when there literally is no other angle available. Okay, that's all right. Do the best you can, get some weaving in there. But when you have an angle or available, like, oh my goodness gracious. Don't get stuck in that loop of operating at a disadvantage. Okay. What else? That was by, I think, easily the biggest, most important thing to work on. And I think off of that, limit testing, experimenting with mid-fight angles, positions, off-angle heel bot spots. Because I think that piggybacks off of that last one is that because it's not, oh, I'm starting on this deep flank. Obviously, this is good. Well, then what do I do mid-fight? When is it good? When is it bad? Like is 3 seconds too long? 4 seconds too long? 5 seconds too long? Like what's the issue here? I don't know. Figure it out. That's going to take some limit testing. Okay. What else?
Some of the smaller stuff with Suzu, like not using it right after I ult.
Keep an eye on. Yeah, let's do minor stuff. Minor stuff. Keep an eye on Suzu into ult. Don't be sloppy with Suzu just because ult. Okay, what else?
There's another specific one with Suzu that I started writing down, and then we started talking about something else.
Tracking teammates.
That was the one. I feel like that one's actually
CD.
good.
Tank CD, usually good to track. So you don't waste.
I think I
Nemesis, Fortify, Malga, defensive CD, etc. You want the reason why I choose tank CD is just because it's usually the easiest one to track.
Yeah.
Deflect is hard, recall is hard, but like you could generally have a pretty good idea of your tank, so it's at least a start. If that makes sense. Okay.
I'm just having some restraint with the Suzu.
Mm-hmm. I think also piggybacking off that is just look at where they're positioned too. Like I think there were 2 or 3 Suzus where behind cover, yeah, they're crit, but you have to trust that they're not going to feed when they're behind cover. Yeah. And but that one's just something to keep an eye on. Okay, crosshair placement.
A little bit higher. Head height.
Higher on spam angles. I think that was mostly it. There were some other things, but I think they were like one and done. Like a couple of them were, you would TP a little bit too early. I think Kitsune rushes were okay for the most part. I actually think that they were all right this game. I don't think there were any major problems. It's really just the first point. And the first point is a tricky one. That's a lot to chew off. But you're going to need to experiment with that one and find when and where you can reestablish your angles. And I think crucially, first point, especially important when running and quote unquote off healer. Because I think that definitely, like, especially considering the fact that you brought it up, that definitely had impacted your decision making this game. Where it was like, I got my pick, I got my one, now I have to heal my tank and heal my tank and heal my tank and heal my tank and heal my tank. Oh no, I've died to the Hanzo. Or oh no, my tank has died to the Zenyatta. That's kind of like, that was like the theme of this game, I think, for the most part.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, anything else?
I don't think so. I think I went through all of the notes I had there.
Okay, great. Any questions or anything come up that we didn't get a chance to go over?
Don't think so.
Okay. All right. Well, I will have this uploaded and sent to you. Crucially, if you have any questions in the future, because obviously, like, this is a pretty big, I won't say can of worms, but this is a pretty big topic, right? There's going to be a lot of points, a lot of maps where you're like, I don't really know what to do in this situation. This is where, kind of going back to that objective versus subjective, how do I know that I actually know what the right thing to do is? All you do is you pull up the fight in the replay viewer and you go, was there an opportunity to retake an angle at this point in time, or to at least take a better heal bot position, right? If so, where? And think.
Okay.
And try to do your best utilizing that 2-fight rule, where it's just the first couple of fights. Try to utilize like just the first couple of fights of every ranked game, thinking about that engagement, thinking about those situations, thinking about those decisions, and slowly work that into habit. Okay. This could be the first 2 fights. Doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Make sense?
That'll be good. Yeah.
Okay.